All right, everybody, welcome on in to the Precision Sorter webinar brought to you by GreenBroz. My name's Tim Strombel, as you saw on our hype video, as awesomely put together by Marco Jimenez, our Director of Marketing. We are pumped to have you with us. I see we've got 30 or 40 people already joined. We've got over 100 attendees on the docket, so we're waiting for people to continue to trickle on in. But psyched to have you here again for this Precision Sorter webinar. Quick layout, what you're gonna see over the next probably 45 minutes. We've got a demo video for you of our not brand new, but our latest edition of Precision Sorter, which looks fantastic. HMI screen, a number of upgrades since the initial unit launched back in 2018. That continue to make this the industry-leading piece of sorting technology specifically designed to handle the delicate cannabis flower. So we're going to get into that demo in just a minute. Before we do that, we've got a quick 4 or 5 PowerPoint presentation to kind of go over some of those features, advantages, and benefits of the Precision Sorter, not only in terms of the awesome build quality, but what it can do for your business. Once we get through that, we're going to show you the new sorter table that pairs perfectly with the Precision Sorter and lets you really take control of that size sorting in your operation. You can specifically match your outfeed table to the sizes of your sorter. So no more, restaurant bins or aluminum trays and having to kind of be at the mercy of that sizing. You can make it specifically what your operation needs. Also, we are running an exclusive promotion for everyone that's joining us. We're going to get to that in just a little bit to let you know what that is. And before we get out of here, we'll let you know what our July webinar is as we move towards the 7/10 oil extraction holiday. We've got something really cool lined up for you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my co-hosts for the day. Let's see, I am going to ask Michelle, Luke, turn on your cameras when you get a second. Luke Carter is our Great Lakes Territory Manager. He does a phenomenal job out in Michigan and a number of other states around that area. And he'll turn his camera on in just a second. He's leaving me hanging. Come on, Luke, put your camera on. Or maybe I just disabled it. Anyways, and then also joining us, and she'll turn her camera on in just a second as well, is our sales director, Michelle Brown, who's been with us for a while now and does an absolutely phenomenal job out in Las Vegas, corralling a crazy sales team. There's Luke. How's it going, Luke?
Doing well. Excited to be here today, Tim. Thanks for having us. Yeah, excited to talk about this great machine.
I'm stoked. And then it looks like there's Michelle as well. Michelle out at our Las Vegas HQ. How are you?
Good. How are you, Tim?
I'm fantastic. Speaking of our Las Vegas HQ, if anyone that's listening gets the chance to or wants to, we host guests at our Las Vegas facility all the time. You can see the first cannabis post-harvest production showroom in the world with all of our equipment laid out. We can do demos for you in-house, and you can see the manufacturing facility and meet our incredible team. So certainly hit us up if you're interested in that, and you can meet some of us. So it'll be super exciting to do that. On some of the ones and twos in the background is Marco Jimenez, who's going to be, showing some of the content that we're doing. There's Marco. I thought you were joining all stoic like that. He's going to be running some of the ones and twos in the background. So what I want to do first is I want to knock out the quick 4 or 5 slide PowerPoint presentation that we have to go over. Luke and Michelle are going to be kind of jumping in and adding some points here as we go. But Marco, go ahead and pull that full screen, man, and we'll go ahead and kick it off. So let's see. Let's put that in full screen. There we go. And yes, we're of course to talk about the GreenBroz Precision Sorter, industry first, and the first machine purpose built for the cannabis and hemp plant, because we know how valuable that is. Go ahead and hit the next slide, buddy. We're already going through this so fast, right? We're already 1 slide down. This is crazy. But why sort? Okay, so we're going to break these up into a couple of different things and go through them just real quickly. But you want more control over your post-harvest process. And what that's going to do, and what we're going to talk about in just a minute, is how you can actually develop more SKUs in your business and grab more pieces of the retail market by creating those SKUs simply through sorting. It's such an important part of the process that a lot of people aren't doing. Simply put, if you're not sorting efficiently, or if you're not sorting at all, that's costing your business money. And so we're going to talk about that. The opportunity to create more product SKUs, and of course, processing your harvest faster so you can get it through the sorting process, into that next phase where it's not facing contaminants or not being subject to humidity variations and stuff like that. Go ahead, next slide, buddy. All right. So not sorting is costing you money. Faster turnaround. Operations that sort their flower post-harvest get their product to market faster. Across the board, statistically speaking, that's almost always true. Redistribution of labor. This is a huge point that not a lot of people pay attention to or even know, but sorting will save you time either by replacing manual sorting, packaging faster and more accurately, or you can trim faster and more accurately. All of those add up to labor savings. Automated sorting saves your operation man hours, which many people think I can just cut those hours, and you certainly can. But we've seen a lot of clients actually redistribute those hours into their facility. And we have clients we could even share with you if you're interested, especially out in Colorado. My good friend Chris Baca over at the clinic is a great example of this. They saved a lot of labor hours on the trimming and sorting side, and they actually redistributed that labor into their grow operation, and were actually able to see a higher net output from their grow side into their processing side. So they're creating more in the same footprint, basically increasing their revenue per square foot of grow, which is crazy and not something that everyone likes to talk about as much as they should. And once you produce more, the precision sorter's throughput can accommodate new growth, and it's simple to add on to the rise conveyor and 4 or 5x that growth even more. It's a modular system. So let's see.
Just to elaborate on that, Tim, quickly, just automation overall ensures consistent, high-speed, damage-free performance. So the more you go into automation and the more you embrace automation as a whole, the more effectively you can increase efficiencies. Like we mentioned, you can also mitigate, contamination of your final product from mold and other pathogens as well. So the more hands-off you are, of course, the higher quality product you're going to produce.
And that's a great point. And I wanted to bring in Luke in this next point to talk about the product SKUs that you can create through sorting. So Luke, what have you seen in terms of clients who bring sorting in?
Well, the sorter just opens up so many more SKUs from one specific strain. And it's something that with more SKUs, you can reach more customers. And so when you sort out your smalls, you can use your smalls for your pre-rolls, for your concentrates. But even more and more, you're seeing in the dispensaries, small packaged B buds, or smalls already packaged in those eights. And so by having those all sorted out beforehand, then you're just taking that, like we say, those little labor, how long it takes to do that by hand compared to just throwing it through the sorter. And then, yeah, you have your mediums that can go onto your grams, and then you can have your large ones that go onto your eighths and your quarters. But when you have like-sized buds that are all, if every single bud like this size weighs about 0.3, then when you're weighing out your grams, you can throw 3 or 4 of those in there and get to that gram weight a lot faster than by trying to sit there and, go back and forth, back and forth.
That's an awesome point. And last thing I wanted to touch on here is just simply ROI. The precision sorter boasts a 3-month ROI on average. It depends really on your throughput. You could achieve that even faster. And then, like I mentioned, we do have clients that have actually redistributed some of that saved labor into their grow, produce more, and increase their, their value per square foot of grow in their operation. So that factors into the ROI as well. Not to mention an industry-leading 3-year manufacturer's warranty. No one else offers that on a piece of sorting technology. We stand alone there. So let's say you have an ROI of 3 months. Well, you have 2 years and 9 months plus of basically you've achieved your full ROI. We've warranted your machine. We're paying you to sort almost at this point. Sorry, is that too weird? Is that too weird to say? I don't know. All right, so sort pre and post trim. This is a really cool talking point because sorting pre-trim allows you more control of your trimming process. Now, it doesn't matter what machine you're using to trim, whether it's a GreenBroz trimmer or a barrel of death, as we like to call them, but in one end out the other. The similar size flowers tend to trim at the same time. A great metaphor that I loved from this was given by one of my friends in the industry, but if you take a 150-pound sumo wrestler and a 400-pound sumo wrestler and you ask them to butt up against each other, the 400-pounder is always going to win. And so that's kind of the same with your flower. If you have this huge dense nug and this small little this little bud, they're not going to trim at the same rate. So trimming your flower at the same size will exponentially make your process more efficient, faster, and more consistent. Then if you want to sort post-trim, that obviously goes to what Luke was talking about, where you take all of a single strain divided into 6 or 7 different sizes, and you're ready to send them off to the right place that they have to go. So really easy one to go over, and certainly let us know if you want us to elaborate on any of that. Blazing through this. Marco, go ahead, next slide. All right, so our industry-born precision sorter solution. Again, the industry's first powered sorting solution. We launched it back in 2018. And since then, we've taken client feedback, real-world experience, and all these other considerations to develop it into a solution that is superior to anything else on the market. And we certainly have clients that feel that way as well. We're always happy to refer you to clients that use these machines and can tell you why they did and how it's affecting the operation. But the company line is that it sorts 90+ pounds per hour, and we're actually doing some testing there, and we're seeing higher results, more in the 150 to 200 range. Not necessarily quoting that, only because it is really dependent on how you feed the machine. So we'll talk about the Rise conveyor in just a little bit, and our Rise and Sort system, which is basically a system that expertly feeds the hopper of the sorter and allows you to push product out at pretty much max capacity. And there we see about 360 to 400 pounds an hour on the more industrial scale. So we're able to scale that with you. Any questions about how we think about capacity? You can add them into the Q&A. You can add them into the chat. If you see, Lisa Kaiser is one of our amazing territory managers. She's out in the Northeast. She loves to sit in the chat and does a great job kind of updating people, so you can read her responses or ask questions there. We'll get to the Q&A shortly too. I've only got 1 or 2 more slides. A huge part of this sorting process is no vibration. a total minimum product drop of less than 10 inches. We're talking from the bands to the table or to the conveyor and then into the sorter. A big part of our design was to eliminate drop, eliminate the jolt of the plant that causes TH trichomes and stuff like that to come off. Luke, you want to touch more on that?
Yeah, just I mean, the whole conveyor, the way it brings it out. Like we had a version 1 of the sorter where it just kind of fell down a slope, and into your containers. But we went with this conveyor system on purpose because you see how it gently drops down about 4 inches and then brings it all the way out into the containers. And then with our new sorter table, it's about a 5 or less than 6 inch drop from there. So that's where you're seeing less than 10 inches of total drop. When something's falling 36 inches, especially something as fragile and as gentle as your buds and as those trichomes, it's so important to preserve that quality. And that's why this machine was built like this. There's definitely different ways to do it, but there's a reason why we had this approach.
That's a great point. I mean, it was critical to get rid of that stainless steel impact and replace it with the conveyor. Like you said, it was almost like a little pillow for the plant. And obviously, if your product's super dried out, you want it to be you want it to be handled really well in this machine, which it could do. It's also the smallest footprint of any purpose-built powered sorting solution in the industry because we know every square foot of your grow is valuable. So we don't want to take up a lot of space. And that is something that this machine definitely accomplishes. It's a great amount of sorting technology. It's modular. So if you build with any of our equipment in the future, this machine will always be relevant, whether you're adding a rise conveyor to it to increase throughput up to 400 pounds an hour, or putting it into our trim to rise to trim to rise to sort system, or a full end-to-end system that you work with us on. This machine will stay in your grow. It's green. Another thing that we love. It's going to help you save time and time and labor, but also power, as we use the smallest pretty much motor we could use in this thing, because we know energy costs are a big factor into your business, and we want to reduce that footprint as well and help you save money. Michelle, do you have something on that?
Yeah, I was just going to kind of elaborate on, what you said earlier, where our sorter has been out in the field for 3 to 4 years, and we've learned really valuable information from our clients and customer feedback to make improvements to the sorter over this time. So as you've mentioned, you've mentioned some of the points already that, we've gone from an analog box to upgrading to an HMI display that, it's lighter. The footprint is smaller, as you mentioned. It's got a completely welded body now, so it's easier to clean. We've upgraded the motor. The output ramp is larger so that the flower has a smoother transition into the collection tray. So all of that, including the dimensions that work perfectly with our sorter table, all make for just a great automated system.
And then to even piggyback on that, this is the only sorting machine that's built with 316 surgical grade stainless steel. Like, that was something that was added on because we wanted to make the most compliant, friendly machine that could go from state to state, country to country, across the world. As cannabis becomes more and more legalized everywhere, we wanted to make a machine that could go from anywhere and pass any test, any regulations that you have. And there's nothing else, no other machine out there that offers that surgical grade stainless steel option, which is, it's important, especially as you run these own facilities.
Yeah, you mentioned surgical grade, but that's lab grade as well. So, up in Canada, they're obviously very strict in terms of what equipment you can use. So having lab grade, surgical grade stainless steel throughout your machinery is great for those standards. And we know those standards are coming to the US. So this is going to be a future-proof machine. So if you're not getting 316 stainless steel, in my opinion, it's not worth your time. So last thing we touch on is the industry-leading 3-year manufacturer's warranty, which I touched on just a moment ago. Go ahead, Marco, next slide. And guys, we're on to our last slide, pretty much. I think we have one more. But this is just showing you the options with the precision sorter. There's the sorter table add-on that we'll show you a video of, but that precisely sits under that outfeed belt and gives you complete control to where you can line up your bin dividers with your sorter to fully customize the outfeed of this. Previously people used, restaurant tubs or aluminum bins. and you're at the mercy of whatever sizes those are. With this table, you're able to fully control what sizing you're getting out of the machine. In the middle is the rise and sort system. You put that rise conveyor on the sorter. You could link a barrel trimmer to that rise conveyor or our Model M, and either way, you can continuously feed it into that hopper. It'll feed your sorter, and you'll get about 360 to 400 pounds per hour of sorting. And then to note on the sorting table, we do have clients that own 3 or 4 sorting tables that will fill one up, wheel it out, wheel in another one, fill that one out, wheel it out, and then you're wheeling to the next part, offloading, and getting it back into your cycle. So it's a really efficient way to turn this stuff. Michelle?
Right. No, I was just going to elaborate again on scale, as you're looking at the renderings there, that we have pretty much shifted our focus from producing standalone machines to focusing more on creating integrated systems that allow businesses to scale. So of course, as your business grow, we can grow with you as you add on systems that completely automate your post-harvesting functions.
Absolutely. And you'll notice everything is on wheels. We use high quality parts and high quality wheels so that you can easily maneuver this. Again, we know that every square inch of your grow is valuable, and we want everything to be maneuverable so that when you're not using it, you can also maneuver things out of your way if you are on any sort of size restriction. So last slide, Marco, and then we'll move into the demo video. See it in person. So just real quick, we do have our warehouse facility in Las Vegas. I'm out in Colorado. Luke's out in Michigan. And are you in Chicago specifically? I can never remember.
We'll just say Great Lakes area. Great Lakes.
He's in the Great Lakes area. And so all of your GreenBroz sales managers have places where they can take you to see these machines in action. I bring people over to the clinic in Colorado, and they've got a number of our machines, and we host demos there all the time. But we've got some great partners throughout the U.S. we'd love to introduce you to. So never hesitate to reach out and get in touch with us on that. So Marco, we'll go ahead and close that out. I am going to take over, and I am going to show the sorter demo footage. And so as we play this, we'll kind of keep talking through it just a little bit. We'll begin to answer some FAQs. Lisa, I see you doing a great job. Let's see here. So I'm going to hit play. And first thing you're seeing there is the HMI screen, which gives you control of the band speed and the conveyor speed. So you can operate as fast as you need to or as slow as you need to. I should mention that we have a local hemp partner in Las Vegas. And so we don't have a cannabis production license that you would need to do cannabis on site. So we are running hemp in Las Vegas. This is all, mid-grade hemp that's probably a little bit drier than you'd run your cannabis. So it might flake a little bit more than you'd experience. But you see one of the feeders just kind of using a business card or a card to move it through. Fully adjustable sorter table. As you see the product rolling into it. Okay, so my machine's super quiet. I'm just going to let that play a little bit while we do some of the talking of this other stuff. Let's see here. James, can you come see one in Colorado? Yes, James. I actually am the Central Mountain Territory Manager, and I will reach out to you directly after this because I can get you over to my friends at the clinic in Colorado, and we can see this machine in action in real time. And so that is no problem. They have a Model M as well, so that's another machine we could see out there. Michelle?
Yeah, no, you're doing a great job, Tim.
I'm always trying to guess and see if there's anything that comes up. Okay, here we go. How would you compare the GreenBroz sorter versus the other guys sorter from Gustavo Rodriguez? And so this is definitely a question that we're able to answer. Let's see, should I dive into it first, guys? And then you guys can jump in? Okay, cool. So let's see. I'm going to try to be as democratic about this as possible because, Pepsi has Coke and everyone's got competition who will try to mimic what they do in some fashion. So our sorter hit the market back in 2018, and we've spent the better part of 3 or 4 years basically dialing this in and listening to our clients to exactly what they want. And that has allowed us to figure out things that new machines brought to market will be learning in the coming years. So to be kind of, diplomatic about the comparison. Also, Luke mentioned the 316 lab grade and surgical grade stainless steel throughout the machine, not just plant touching surfaces, throughout the machine. On
the other guys
spec sheet, they use 304 stainless steel, which again is fine. It is a stainless steel version. If you look up, I would encourage you to do your own research, because 304 versus 316 stainless steel, if you just type that into a Google search or like a YouTube search, for instance, not YouTube, a Google search, you'll come up with that difference. But 304 stainless steel is really meant for non-food grade or like non-digestion material. So you wouldn't want to use that for cutting surfaces and stuff like that. It's also more prone to rust. Michelle or Luke, do you guys want to comment on the difference a little bit more as well?
Yeah, just to elaborate a little bit. So the 316 lab medical grade is resistant to acidic compounds, corrosion, and bacteria. So it's just going to be a safer all-around substance altogether.
Not to mention, it's slightly more expensive to manufacture with. So when you talk about let's compare the two, well, the GreenBroz Precision Sorter is a couple grand less, and you're paying you're getting a higher quality stainless steel out of it. So that's something that I think is certainly worth noting here. I'll just go ahead and run this again so that you can see it. Let's see. So as we're comparing more things, our Precision Sorter is a smaller footprint. It's shorter. It processes pretty much the same amount based on your infeed, whether you're looking at
others
or ours. The actual sorting operation is exactly the same. They took our band and kind of the V-shaped, and they basically mimicked it, and they added on, I think, 1 or 2 extra bands. But the infeed is where you determine really what the capacity of the machine is, because this thing can sort as fast as you can feed it, which is why I say, even though the company line is 90 pounds per hour, with the rise in the sort system, we see 360 to 400. We've easily seen over 200 pounds just hand feeding this sorter, but it fully depends on your ability to feed it, kind of like this GreenBroz guy is doing on camera there. So let's see. Am I leaving anything out, you two, between the two machines?
Yeah, I think that's everything. Maybe the drop.
The shoot, yeah, the drops.
And that's a great point. Right. So if you look at our Gen 1 machine that we don't have on here, but Luke eloquently kind of brought up, we did initially have down ramps, kind of like you would see from
other guys.
Down ramps that were stainless steel and kind of guided the product down. But what that did is it really elongated the drop of the flower, not to mention dropping, go take a bud and drop it from 10 inches above on stainless steel. And you're going to see the jostle of that flower, as opposed to our conveyors almost like a pillow for the, the flower to come down onto. So that's something that we figured out. I imagine on future iterations, I would expect them to figure it out too. But the last thing I would say is just that we've had these machines in the field for 3, 4, 5 years or so. And we've troubleshot, we've dealt with our clients, we've done support, we've done warranty, all this stuff that have kept our clients going. And we have plenty of clients that would recommend this technology, as opposed to a technology that's coming out. They can't tell you what the maintenance costs or upkeep's going to be because the machine hasn't been in the field. Kind of stuff along those lines. So I hope I answered that question. I don't want to say too much on it.
Exactly. Since, again, to elaborate, since our machines are industry born, we have a relentless focus on cannabinoid and terpene preservation. So with every machine that we built, including the sorter, that's where our focus is, in the end product being the highest quality possible.
Awesome. I'm going to start jumping into the chat because I'm seeing a lot more comments come in there, and I'm going to power through some of these. Kyle, what type of support do you offer for the machine? Lisa did a great job. Our customer service is fantastic. Nick is our service lead. He is pretty much available 24/7, even though he works business hours. He's fantastic. And we have a number of people in-house that work with you to either get you maintenance parts. A lot of times they'll shoot quick videos that tell you exactly what to do to make it really easy for your team, or they'll jump on a FaceTime call or a phone call. Customer service is really first and foremost for us. And I know a lot of people say that, but we truly do work our tails off and have dedicated support within our company for you guys, because that's what it really comes down to. When is the adjustable sorting table available? Speaking of that, let me go ahead and play you. This is a sorter table promo there. We don't need the audio. But that's the sorter table. It was released earlier this year. It is currently available. So we're ready. You tell us today you want one, we could ship it out today. Wouldn't be a problem. There's some older hemp in there too. But yeah, we are running a special. So the cat is out of the bag. There you go. Marco just flashed it in the bottom left. But for you all specifically today, we're taking $1,000 off these sorter tables, which is crazy. We've never done that before. But $1,000 off a sorter table if you buy a precision sorter. So what's really cool about that is, I don't even have to tell you what's really cool about that. I mean, you're saving $1,000. That's a great incentive. So super stoked on that. We do offer additional tabs that can go in this so that you can sort even further down if you want to. But we find typically 5 or 6 options in this table is plentiful for what our clients are doing with it. So how many passes do you need to do on the last 2 sections? It looks like smaller nugs make it through. So Luke, you might want to chime in on this in terms of the, I guess, efficiency of the table, because what you're going to see happen is every size sorting solution you see on there, cannabis varies so much, and this is part of what we spent a lot of time developing, but cannabis varies so much on length, width, and structure that you're right. You will see some that either fall through vertically towards the beginning or fall through late at the ends that maybe aren't too big or too small. But I think overall, you're looking at like a 90 to 95% accuracy rating based on, I think, what our stats show, Luke?
Yeah, those tines there at the beginning, those drop downs, those are what are helping trying to just keep any buds that might be stuck together or positioned wrongly on there. And it's by no means perfect 100% every time, but it is upwards of 90, 95%. And I mean, honestly, if you do see something that maybe goes into a channel that it's not supposed to, you're more likely going to have a worker standing there, kind of watching over this machine, and they can easily just, kind of toss it over into the correct section that it needs to belong in.
Absolutely. And I see Lisa addressed a great point. How big of a drop is at the final end of the sorter? And that was simply a table, the tray turned upside down at the end in those videos. But you can certainly put in a bin there, or we have some solutions that we can offer you to make that drop a lot less as well. Luke, did you have something?
Yeah, you can just, in that video, like you said, we had the tray kind of turned upside down as a collection area, but you can turn it the other way around and put a bin on top of that, and that will really minimize that drop point there at the very end.
All right, how long is the typical time to clean the sorter after completing a batch? Knew this question was going to come up. It's about a 15 to 20 minute process, maybe 10 to 20, or 10 if you get it really dialed in. And it fully depends on each strain. So if you're running from strain to strain and you're cleaning between each, it's as simple as just a wipe down and a rub down of the touch surfaces like the conveyor belt and the bands. All of that can be done super quick. We have a phenomenal light cleaning and a deep cleaning piece of collateral we can send over. The deep cleaning's a little bit more involved just because you want to make sure you get into every nook and cranny. But what's so great about the machine itself is that we built it so that you could get into every nook and cranny and that everything is accessible there. So super stoked on that. Let's see if we're covering off everything. Am I missing anything, Luke, Michelle? We're doing good?
Yeah, you're doing great.
Didn't Green Vault help create both GreenBroz and M9? No. So Green Vault makes the precision batcher. We, as a company, were partnered with Green Vault Systems for a couple of years, and then ultimately they split off. They were their own company before we partnered. They are their own company still, and we don't. We're no longer partners with them, and we actually have some really cool partnership news we're going to be announcing here in the coming weeks that are going to add some really exciting products to use to GreenBroz. But the sorter itself was specifically 100% designed in-house You know, I worked in the next room over from the engineers that made that back in the day. So I can tell you everything was in-house. So that's that. But that's I appreciate that because I did get a nice chuckle out of it. It was good. Let's see here. I wanted to get to, can you use Simple Green to clean the system? The answer to that, I believe, is no. But I want to pull up the FAQ sheet, which everyone can download, which is a great time to talk about that. If you go into the handouts tab in your dashboard, you will see that we have our sorter FAQ sheet, the spec sheet, the sales sheet, which goes over a lot of the features, advantages, and benefits. And I think the PowerPoint presentation that we went over as well. So you can have all of that stuff. And inside of that is all those answers that you would be looking for, including best practices for cleaning and stuff like that. Can you list all the automatic sorting machine styles your company currently offers? Yeah, so I mean, well, maybe Lisa can respond to the listing of it, but the precision sorter with the sorting table is your primary number one. Like, for instance, I can remove video, or should I keep the video going? No. So we have some more content for you. We're going to play in just a second, but I have a customer out in Colorado. They do 300 to 400 pounds per month at their cannabis grow. And they are using a precision sorter with a sorter table. That's all they need. That same client has a hemp grow that does 3,000 to 4,000 pounds per month, and they're going with the rise and sort system in that operation. They do use a barrel trimmer because it's just low grade hemp production, so they're not worried about quality. And they barrel feed into the rise conveyor, which goes into the sorter, which goes into their sorter table. And they've got a couple of sorter tables that they wheel in and out to keep that going. So I'd say, small to medium size, a precision sorter with a sorter table would be great. And if you're pushing serious volume, then that rise and sort will be all you will need to keep up with your sorter. So hopefully that answers that question.
And then I just wanted to address, Anthony asked where the machine is made. So we can attest that all of our GreenBroz products are made right here at our Las Vegas facility. 95% of materials are sourced within the US. So it's here and available. Lead times are minimal. We can get you sorter tables out right now within the week. So small lead time.
And that's the advantage.
And it varies depending on, the season. As we get busier, the lead times get a little bit longer. But just know right now it can be as short as a week up to 10 to 14 days. We're running full swing during harvest season.
And that's a great call to action to just note that we are getting busier as we ramp up to harvest season. So with that, we are manufacturing more at our Las Vegas facility where we do pretty much everything in-house. And so the more heads up you give us as well, we can actually put aside a couple of machines on the anticipation that we're going to close your order and reduce that lead time. So as we start to talk to you about orders, there are things we can do to even shorten that even better. Is there footage of the rise conveyor as well? Absolutely. Luke, did you have anything? And as you talk, I was going to, well, if you're not going to talk, that makes it a little bit harder.
We have footage of the rise conveyor as well. So we can easily,
we do.
We got a lot of, I think you had to register with your email. So we can definitely, I see that's Adam. We can reach out to you, Adam, and show you that rise conveyor. And also, if you want to talk to a current customer, we have plenty of those as well.
Yeah, and we also have Marco in the background. And typically a lot of the things that Marco works to do while we do these videos is pull out things that we are talking about. So if he in the background is listening and wants to pull up a rise and sort video, that would certainly be wonderful. I know that I can also pull it up. And I am going to, right now, as we get ready to wrap up, feel free to go ahead, list any more, what are the dimensions on the grates for the sorting table? Devin, could you clarify, is that in terms of the bin depth is 5.925 inches, I think, so it's sub 6, but you're looking for just the dimensions of the table? inside the table, you can set the bins to basically whatever you want. So I can give you the depth, but you can basically segment that out however you like. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, Tim, I'll throw up that video right now. Just one sec.
Perfect. Who would I contact in the Chicago area to see a demonstration if needed? You would contact Luke. He handles the Great Lakes and down in Chicago as well. So he will be able to get you that, let's see, 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch to 1/8 of an inch. Oh, that's a great clarification. So how, I guess, how wide are the spacers on the sorting table? Is that what he's kind of asking, I think? Is like between each notch in terms of separating it that way?
I'm not quite sure. The grates are also expandable out. So if you want to say, I mean, if you had some bigger material that you wanted to throw through there, it's a simple, it takes probably about 5 to 10 minutes to just actually adjust those bands further apart. So there are some variable that you can, really adjust.
He's talking about the sorter table too, I think. Instead of, because you meant the bands on the sorter, right?
Yeah, I want to say those notches are about 1 inch apart, maybe 1.5 inches.
Yeah,
but
and then if you look at how
specific info.
Sure, and if you look at the down ramps on the sorter, they're that V pattern. So you have 2 or 3 inches between size sorting anyway. So you'd be able to kind of, have a V, split that with the table, or is there an overhead shot of the sorter table? I know there is. These are all great questions. Devin, where are you located? I think the easiest way for us to do this is to have our sales manager or territory manager in your area send that to you, because we have all this information, and I want to make sure I'm hitting everyone's question.
Yeah, I'm trying to get an overhead shot. I would at least say there's.
We've got photos.
Yeah, the handout, the spec sheet has all the dimensions of it perfectly though.
It does. And is that under handouts?
Yes, it should be. I believe it is.
The sorter spec sheet. Let me just look to make sure. Oh, so the table itself does not have the overhead, but the rise and sort spec sheet does. And I am going to drop that in. Boom. Upload. So I just added the rise and sort spec sheet for those interested in looking at that. And what that has is an over-the-shoulder footprint spec that gives you the sizes of everything. So you can look at the sorter table dimensions, the sorter dimensions, and the rise conveyor. So that just got added. I'm sorry, I didn't do that before, to the handouts tab. So you could easily download that. Let's see here. Let me see, make sure I'm getting caught up. So again, yeah, I see the rate for the throughput with the sorter and the rise conveyor. So we say about 360 to 400 pounds for the rise conveyor into the sorter. It comes out to about 6 pounds per minute, as opposed to about 1.5 to 2 pounds for the sorter. But again, it really comes back to how fast can you feed the machine, because the bands and the conveyor are going to operate the same speed with or without the rise conveyor. So you could efficiently feed the sorter and get numbers closer to 150 to 200. But what the rise conveyor does is it automates that. So it removes the person who's sitting there, kind of hand agitating into the sorter, and it more consistently feeds it. We actually offer a different hopper that goes to the top of the sorter and has a couple of waypoints through it. So as the rise conveyor is feeding the sorter, it hits those waypoints and seamlessly flows down onto the bands. So that takes out any specific kind of friction points that might reduce that feed rate. And then the rise conveyor allows you to link it up to a sorting a trimming solution, whether our trimmers or a barrel trimmer. You can directly have that feed into the hopper, and it gives you a continuous feed. The hopper can hold about 15 pounds, and you can continuously feed it into your sorter and out. So really, it's an up level of automation, reducing touch points and harvesting, processing faster. So those are like the differences there.
Yeah.
And when you talk about
Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I was about to talk about the adjustable speeds.
Oh yeah. I was just going to say, going back to kind of that redistribution of labor thing. I have a client who says that they basically run a trimmer, fill up the hot, and they have the trimmer, then rise and sort system, and they can essentially fill up the hopper, and then let the rise and sort system run, and then while that's running, they can go and clean the Model M, and do all that, and basically one person can do an entire trim and sort system all by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great point. If you say so myself. Michelle, did that cover off what you were saying?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that both the conveyor speed and the belt speeds are adjustable too. So that's going to factor into the throughput number as well.
Awesome. So yeah, we're about 45 minutes in. It looks like we've just about covered off everything between our answers and the chat from Lisa, who just did a phenomenal job. I saw Jesse in there as well. And so it looks like, let's see, it looks like that is covering off. Let's see, we made sure we got Devin's info so we could get her the information. Yeah, so we got that info so we can send her the information there. Let's see. So yeah, as we get ready to close out, thank you so much for being with us. Again, let's go ahead and reiterate that the sorter table is $1,000 off, which is great. I mean, typical MSRP is $2,500. It's $1,000 off if you pair it with a precision sorter. And then we do offer the rise and sort system. That's a great deal as well, because if you get the system bundle together, you actually end up, I think we're running a 6% promotion on that right now as well. So there's savings there. If we didn't get to your question, or you have a question that comes up, there's resources for you. So you can contact us anytime, info@GreenBroz.com. You can fill out our contact page, GreenBroz.com/contact, or hit up your territory manager if you know who they are, and they can get you that info. This webinar will be available within the next couple of days. We're going to email it all to you. So to thank you for registering and coming. We're going to obviously keep the deal going for you guys for the next week or so. And then we will send you the webinar as well. Kasha just brought up a great point that we can, and let's go ahead and do that, Kasha. We'll include all of the spec sheets that we mentioned in this, as well as the FAQ and the sales sheet that has all the features, advantages, and benefits. We'll include that in the email as well. So you'll have every resource that we kind of went over here, and you can certainly get back to that as well. Gustavo, thanks for your questions, man. Definitely appreciated that, and thanks for tuning in. Let's see. So the last thing to do, unless Luke and Michelle, you have anything, but we're going to basically announce the next webinar. Does that sound okay? Okay, so everyone knows in July, we have the 7/10 industry holiday, which is the oil extraction holiday. And so we will be covering our Alchemist Trichome Extractor. We make two different models, a 215 and a 420, which is a tabletop unit and a larger commercial sized unit. It's a solventless extraction technology that is basically a sift, a dry sift technology, where you put your trimming or your flower in, close it up, frozen. You could use it with or without dry ice, or put it in frozen trim, and it basically sifts it with a 15 to 25% yield by weight, and lets you really make sure you're getting the most out of that product, because you can gather trim from your sorter or from your dry trimmer where the trim just goes underneath it, and you can turn that into more products. We're all about turning into more product SKUs. Luke, did you have something?
Nope.
Nope. Just shaking your head. And so the last thing that we're going to do in just a second is show you an unboxing video of the sorter, so you can see how it comes, how easy it is to set up. It was shot by Marco with our friends over at NHS. I believe they were up in Northern California when they shot that. So make sure I just covered off on everything that I need to cover off on before we segue into that. And what we're going to do is play that video, and that kind of will play us out. So yeah, we have the promotion. Hit us up for that. Get ahead of the harvest rush. If you're curious about this, get this conversation moving, and we can at least get you on our team's radar to make sure we kind of have some inventory for you. So when that order goes through, you're right there and we can send it out as soon as possible, because we want to make sure that there's as little lag time as possible there. So let's see, I'm just going to cover off. There we go. There we go. So it looks like we're good. So Michelle, Luke, unless there's anything else, thank you so much. And I'm going to play this video to play us out.
All right. No, just a shout out to everybody who attended. Thanks for attending. We appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you all so much. We're so psyched. Thank you guys for being here, guys and gals, obviously. And we'll go to this unboxing video. Just 3 or 4 minutes, I think. And it's good stuff. I'll turn the audio up so you can hear it.
All of these dots with the all the screws that I need to unscrew with red dots. I mean, come on. That's amazing. Oh, look at that, that's pretty stylish there. You know that's a machine head made that because you guys drilled this one and this side out so it only fits in there like perfectly. Quality control passed. Made in America. That has everybody's name on there that helped with the project. Everybody that assembled it. To our amazing clients, we strive to perform at our best so you can produce at your best. That's what we've been trying to say. We like doing what we do best, and you stay on the farm and do what you do best. That's our Farm Direct plan. But here at the Gondry Distribution, we're going to come out to your farm and we're going to procure the highest grade cannabis in all of the land here from the Humboldt Hills. And we're going to use this machine to sort the cannabis to make it efficient so we can pull the smalls off here, the big pieces over there, and actually help sort and process the cannabis to help create a rubrics for pricing and to help grade out your pounds so that we can make it quick and efficient and make your deals go quick. So, Gondry Distro, you know it. All right, so we got a little pen there, little industry mag. Boom, there's the crew. There's the team. Boom. And I got a sorter user manual. That's efficient. We could go from the Model M, it just pops right into here, sorts into the containers, and then wow, it was that easy. We're ready to sort hundreds and maybe thousands of pounds an hour if we once we get open. We're ready. Are you? That's it. All right, well, let's go make millions.